So, some people say Vedanta is a darshana, it is a philosophy. Yeah, but traditionally speaking, Vedanta is a pramana. Pramana is the favorite topic of Puja Swamiji and very important topic. How do we understand pramana? ये प्रमाण है, we say, no, in Hindi, means authority or proof. What is a proof? But that is not the meaning we take in our Gurukulam. Pramana means pramakaranam, pramayaha karanam, the instrument to gain knowledge. So what are the pramanas already known to us? Pancha pramanas: pratyaksha, anumanam, arthapati, Anupalabdhi, Upamanam. Yeah? So we have 5 pramanas or instruments of knowledge by which we gain knowledge in the world. Is it not? So I perceive something, it's raining, okay, then I need to take an umbrella or a raincoat. Then I hear a sound of a truck coming and I jump, to avoid getting hurt. Then I taste and smell. So, Shabda, Sparsha, Rupa, Rasa, Gandha, this knowledge is coming through the Pratyaksha Jnanendriyani. That is the first pramana, knowledge of the world. Then, based on this data input, we have Anumanam. Anumanam is inference. If I get up tomorrow, I see that the roads are wet. I did not see it raining, right? But what happened? I infer that it must have rained last night. That's the only possible conclusion, Nobody would have taken a hose and then made everything wet. Possibility, but highly unlikely. Then we have Arthapati, like the doctors, when they see there is a fever and then they see another symptom, they do a blood diagnostic. Then multiple inferences, you come to the conclusion, okay, it is a viral fever or bacterial or malaria. That's called Arthapati. Then Anupalabdhi is a very peculiar pramana. It is knowing the absence of something. If I say there is no lotus in my hand, you are understanding the absence of something. It's a strange pramana. Then finally we have Upamanam. Upamanam is illustration. So I describe something. Okay, this is like, like this Nilgai. There is a Nilgai animal in Nagpur Gurukulam. So I will say, okay, have you seen a Nilgai? No. Okay, it is like this. It's like a deer. It's got antlers. It's huge like a bison. Then you get an idea. That's called Upamanam. Now these Pancha Pramanas give us what? Knowledge of the world. Why do we gain this knowledge? To have a comfortable life. To fulfill my desires. Is it not? Yeah. It is to gain wealthy knowledge. Yeah. Now Shastra says there is a 6th pramana. And none of these Pancha Pramanas that we just saw can give you what the 6th can give you. What can the Vedas give us that these Pramanas cannot give? For example, the concept of Papa and Punyam. How do I know that a bad action, going against Dharma, will result in Papa and doing good karmas will result in Punyam? Who tells me that? Veda Pramanam. Only Veda Pramanam will tell me that. Then rebirth again. How do I know there is rebirth? There is no scientific proof, right? That is also the Veda. So the Shabda Pramana, 6th Shabda Pramana or Veda Pramana or Apaurusheya Veda Pramana gives us facts which are non-verifiable but which are Shraddha based. So Shraddhavan Labate Jnanam. And so too the topic of Vedanta. Vedanta is the knowledge of the whole, knowledge of Ishvara, the Jiva Ishvara Aikya Jnanam. That is also given to me from the Vedanta, the end portion of the Vedas. Yeah? Now, why should we study Vedanta is a common question. Let me ask Saroja or Lalita. Why have you come for the camp?
It was something new which we have not experienced.
Ah, yes, very good answer.
So that noble
Experience.
Eagerness is there to know what
Yes.
is there in it. What are we going to see?
Correct. Fair enough. Okay, good. Now, so what are the normal pursuits for a jiva? See, we all, there is a fundamental need for happiness and security. So Veda says, okay, go ahead. You want to settle down with a family? There's a sadhana to do that. Go ahead. You want to earn well, become famous, free from obstacles? Yes, there are sadhanas for that. So we have Artha and Kama pursuits which are described in the Karmakanda portion of the Vedas. Huh? Then there is another portion, another pursuit called Dharma. Yeah? Dharma is, okay, you go after Artha and Kama, but follow Dharma. Yeah? Dharma means ethic based. If I don't want to be hurt, then I should not be hurting anybody else. I don't want to be robbed, I cannot rob anybody. So, Dharma for harmony. But then the Veda says that this is not the end of life. Yeah, we see that the result of all dharma leads to punyam. Artha will give me some security. Kama will give me some happiness. Will it give me lasting peace, fulfillment, and happiness? No. Otherwise, we wouldn't be here today, wanting to know what else, as Saroja put it. So, that is the last word of the Vedas. The one who has examined life and is finding that, okay, I've tried everything, I'm still seeking even after 50, 60, 70 years. So, what is the solution? Solution is Vedanta. So, Vedanta challenges one to examine one's life. Am I this body? Am I this mind? What do I really want? Where is lasting fulfillment? These questions are relevant for the mumukshu who has done pariksha, examined the nature of life. Only they will be interested in Vedanta. Yeah? And that is why we seek the grace of Lord Dakshinamurti, who symbolizes that knowledge which we know is Raja Vidya, Para Vidya, Brahma Vidya in the Gita. Yeah? And so to gain that knowledge, where is that knowledge available? In the Upanishads, Jnana Kanda. And we have done a couple of Upanishads, and even Gita is called a Gita Upanishad also. So here we have a small text, which is called Laghu Vakya Vritti, and this is a short form of a larger text called Vakya Vritti. Vakya Vritti has 53 verses, and this has 18. Okay. Now, this Laghu, what does Laghu mean? Short. Correct. No? Short. Vakya, sentence. No? What kind of sentence? See, supposing I'd say 2 is equal to 2. Is it a sentence?
Meaningful.
It is a sentence, but it is not meaningful. Right? So what is there in 2 is equal to 2 or 8 is equal to 8? There is nothing for me to figure out. Right? But if you give a child, let's say a 6-year-old child, the equation, the sentence 100 minus 91 is equal to 5 plus 4. Will the child figure it out? No. Why? Because it is so contradictory. On the one side you have addition, another side you have subtraction. One side you have 2-digit numbers, another side you have 1-digit number. So it will be very puzzled. No? So only when the connections are established later on in higher grades it will figure it out. No? So Vakya here stands for Mahavakya, exactly. No? And Mahavakya is the great Vedantic equation equating the Jiva with the Ishvara. Again, as contradictory as the mathematics of to the challenge. Where is Jiva? Alpajnaha. I am so limited in every way. And where is Ishvara? I am Dasaha, Ishvara's Prabhu. I am Alpajnaha, Sarvajnaha, Alpashaktiman, Sarvashaktiman. How can Vedanta say I am equal? How is that? That is called Mahavakya. And this text is going to unfold the essential non-difference between the two. And we have seen this in the Mundaka Upanishad. Purusha eve idagam sarvam. Isha Upanishad starts with this. Isha vasyam idam sarvam. Gita, where does the Mahavakyam come? Chapter 13, second shloka. Kshetrajnam chapimam vitti sarva kshetreshu bharata. I am the Kshetrajnaha in all the kshetrams. Krishna says over Mahavakyam. Om. Om is the shortest Mahavakyam. Yeah? But we have 4 popular Mahavakyams, no? Which I think most of us know. Prajnanam Brahma. Yeah? This comes from the Aitareya Upanishad. Then Tattvamasi, most famous Chandogya Upanishad. Aham Brahmasmi, Brihadaranyaka Upanishad. And Ayam Atma Brahma, Mandukya Upanishad. So these are considered the 4 popular Mahavakyams. But really there are hundreds of Mahavakyams in all the Upanishads or Gita or texts like this. Small texts like this. No? This is a Vedantic text. Okay? And so, this Mahavakyam is, there's a story connecting these 4, Once a Shishya goes to a Guru and says, what is the nature of Brahma? What is this all about? Then the Guru answers, Prajnanam Brahma. Now, where is that Brahma? Tattvamasi. You are that. Then Shishya says, oh, Aham Brahmasmi. And then what next? What should I do? I am Atma Brahma. That means continue abiding in this knowledge. I am Atma Brahma. So you see, the viewpoints are different, but ultimately the solution is to discover there is something beyond the body and the mind which that Atma is longing for. Yeah? That is the vision of Vedanta, and that is only going to give me lasting fulfillment, and that is the purpose of our study and the camp also. Yeah? So, with that short introduction, I thought let us start this Laghu Vakya Vritti. Srinivas, you want a copy? You have a copy. Good. So, now, some texts they will emphasize more on one padam. Tat, Tvam, Asi. We have 3 padams, right? The first 6 chapters of Gita emphasize which padam? Tvam, the jiva, the nature of the struggling jiva in samsara. Then the middle, Tat, the nature of Ishvara. And the last, where we are currently, Asi padam. Yeah? So it is said that the Laghu Vakya Vritti is a Asi padam pradhana text. That is, it is a Nididhyasanam Grantha, which is going to, through which we are going to discover Aham Brahma Asmi. That will be the highlight. So it is highly contemplative and maybe a little abstract for people who are very new to this, no? But at the same time, it's very, very subtle and, and this text will directly approach the subject matter without even a Mangalacharanam or prayer to Guru or saying, are you eligible for this knowledge? No. With a bang it starts. Okay? So let us start by chanting the shlokas. Let's take the first one, which is on page 9. Okay? Sthulo mamsamayo dehaha Sukshmasyad vasanamayaha Sthulo mamsamayo dehaha Sukshmasyad vasanamayaha
Sthulo mamsamayo dehaha Sukshmasyad vasanamayaha
Jnana karmendriyai sardham Dhi pranau tat shariragau Sthulo mamsamayo dehaha Sukshmasyad vasanamayaha Jnana karmendriyai sardham Dhi pranau tat shariragau
Sthulo mamsamayo dehaha Sukshmasyad vasanamayaha कर्मेन्द्रियैः सार्धं धीप्राणौ तच्छरीरगौ.
Yeah. So in the very first two verses, Adi Shankaracharya, by the way, is the author of this text and of Vakya Vritti also, will describe the three bodies, Sharira Trayam, in the very first two verses. No? Now, we know a question may come to our mind. Okay, I've come for Vedanta, for listening to what Brahma is all about. Then why should Acharya describe the body? Why start with the Sthula Sukshma? I know that I'm not the body. Why start with the description of the body, Sthula and Sukshma? The reason is the body is known. The body is tangible. Yeah? But the Brahma is remote right now. It is intangible. It is subtlemost topic. So the author is applying Shakha Chandra Nyayaha or Arundhati Darshana Nyayaha. A famous Nyaya. What is Shakha Chandra Nyaya? Suppose it is a Tritiya Tithi. No? We know that the Tritiya Tithi will be very difficult to see. No? Chaturthi will be easy. Yeah? So then, supposing you want to show your friend the Tritiya crescent moon, what will you do? You'll say, come, let's go out. No? You see that tree in the east? Yes. No? And you go higher up the tree, you see a fork? Yes. Yeah? Then you follow the left branch, Shakha. Ah, there, yes, I see it. Okay? And what is Arundhati Darshana Nyaya? Stars. Two stars, correct, yeah. It's integrated very beautifully in our wedding ceremony, right? The thing is, the newly wed couple will be taken out and then they have to see the galaxy of stars and the Saptarishis, and then you say, okay, you see that? Is that Vashishta? No. The one next to that. That is Vashishta? Yes. Then you see a tiny glimmering star next to Vashishta? Yes. That is Arundhati. Take the blessings.
From known to unknown.
This is the point. The Nyaya is from the known, the branch is known to me, right? Then I take the leap to the unknown. Okay? Then you see the constellation of stars, then you identify one bright one, Vashishta, then next to that is Arundhati. So, from the known, Shariram is known, subtle body is also kind of known, we are going to reach the unknown. Tattvam Nityavastu. So what does the shloka say now? Sthulaha mamsamayaha. Over. What is the gross body? Made of flesh. Now this mayat is a pratyaya, suffix. Mamsa mayat. Mayat means saturated with. No, we say no. Everything is Brahmamayam. That means filled with Brahma. No, Maya. In regional languages also we have that. So that is a suffix which means filled with. Prachurya arthe. Saturated. So Mamsamaya means, is the body only made of flesh? No. Ayurveda, there are saptadhatus. Bone, bone marrow, seminal fluid, fat, muscle, tissue. All saptadhatus are there. But here, Mamsa stands for everything. Yeah? So there you have the Sthula Shariram is made of flesh, which is easily objectifiable. Krishna has said, Idam Shariram Kaunteya Kshetramitya Vidhiyate. Kshetram. And we saw Kshetram is very tangible. Kshetram grows in weight, grows in height. It decline is subject to the Shatvikaras. Asti, Jayate, Vardhate, Viparinamate, Apakshiyate, Vinashyati. So, very, very easy to understand that how the gross body is Mamsamayaha. Yeah? And hence it is very tangible. In Tattvabodha we saw Annamaya Koshaha. It is nothing but a modification of food. Annam. All the upma, vade, parathas has got assimilated into this body. Over. Then Sukshma Sharira, Sukshmaha Syad Vasana Mayaha. There also Mayat you have. So the subtle body is made up of impressions. Vasana means subtle impression. Now, supposing you tasted a fruit, yeah, then that experience leaves behind an impression. Samskara. No? So, vasana, samskara are almost the same. No? The tendency, the impression is there. So, what is the subtle body now? A bundle of vasanas filled with impressions of my entire past, of so many lives up to the present moment. Yeah? See, some of you are here for the first time, right? So the experience of Anekati would leave behind a vasana in your chittam. So the next time you come, then that vasana will be triggered. No? And if it is a favorable impression in your mind, I'm sure it is, then there will be a favorable response from your mind. But if that experience was not favorable, any other experience, then your mind will reject it. It will check Chittam database. No? Okay, is it favorable? No. Do I want to go for that? No. Mind is doing all this. Huh? So here, Sukshma Sharira is described as Vasana Mayaha. Is that all? No. Second line. Jnana Karmendriyaihi. The subtle body, we have seen it in chapter 13 in Tattva Bodha. Mundaka also. What all does it comprise of? Jnanendriyani, 5. Karmendriyani, 5. Pranas, 5. What else? Manas. So some Tattva Bodha we find the fourfold division. No? Manas, Buddhi, Chittam, Ahankara. But here it is Dhi. Dhi means intellect. Okay? And 5 pranas. So along with Dhi we can put Manas also. See, Dhi is intellect and Manas is mind. What is the difference? Like the difference between the brain and the heart, we can say, no? The Dhi is the charioteer in the Ratha Kalpana, no? And the Manas is the reins, no? So the Manas is Sankalpa Vikalpatmaka Manas, doubting. Did I switch off the gas? Did I lock the door before coming? I hope you all did before coming here. But Manas will doubt. But Dhi will say, yes, I did. No? And I've given the key to the neighbor, no problem, you're fine. So, Nischayatmika Buddhihi is Dhi. All this constitutes what? Sukshma Shariram. Tat Shariragau. These are the 2 Shariras. Now, when we celebrate the birthday, what are we celebrating? The birth of the Sthula Shariram. Right? Sthula Shariram is 50 years, 60 years, 70 years. We are celebrating in this Janma, in this lifespan, the date, the age of the body, Sthula. How old is the subtle body? Anadi. Yes. Anadi Kala, it is coming. So, subtle body we are going to see in the very next verse is the one that will migrate from physical body to the next. Just like the analogy of the tenant from one apartment, leased apartment, when the lease is over, it has to vacate and occupy the next apartment. So here we find that the commentators talk about this Shaka Chandra Nyaya to say that our objective is to discover that which is distinct from the 3 bodies. Now let us see what the 3 bodies are. So the first verse described 2 bodies. Now let's go to the third one. Ajnanam karanam sakshi.
Ajnanam karanam sakshi.
Bodhastesham vibhasakaha.
Bodhastesham vibhasakaha.
Ajnanam karanam sakshi. Bodhastesham vibhasakaha.
Ajnanam karanam sakshi. Bodhastesham vibhasakaha.
Bodhabhaso buddhigataha.
Bodhabhaso buddhigataha.
Karta syat punya papayoho.
Karta syat punya papayoh.
Together. अज्ञानं कारणं साक्षी
बोधस्तेषां विभासकः बोधाभासो बुद्धिगतः कर्ता स्यात् पुण्यपापयोः.
Yeah. This verse number 2, it is going to describe the third body, which is called Karana Shariram or causal body, not casual. Causal body. Causal body means the Karanam for the other two bodies, subtle and gross. How does causal body become the cause for the other two bodies? Ajnanam Karanam. Because causal body means Ajnanam, ignorance. Ignorance of Atma, self-ignorance. So when there is ignorance, then what? Then I am seeking pursuits in life, and the subtle body keeps transmigrating, occupying one sthula sharira after the next, fulfilling desires and going round and round in the samsara chakra. So Ajnanam becomes the cause of the other two bodies. And Ajnanam, how old is Ajnanam? Again? Anadikala. No? We don't know when our first birth was, right? Who were our first parents? So Shastra says Anadikala. We don't know since when the subtle body is going after Punarapi Jananam, Punarapi Maranam. Yeah. So Ajnanam Karanam. Then what? Bodhaha, let's take that word. Bodhaha Tesham Vibhasakaha. Directly this text comes to the point. Tesham. Kesham. Tesham is all the three bodies. Of all the three bodies, Bodhaha means consciousness. No? This is the tattva. Bodhaha is consciousness, is Vibhasakaha. Vibhasakaha means which illumines them all. Who all? Sthula, Sukshma, Karana. Yeah? Tesham Vibhasakaha is Bodhaha. Now, this Bodhaha is the word that is going to be used a lot in this text, and it comes from the root Buddh. Buddh means to know. So, Bodhaha is here standing for that Atma Tattvam. The I that is free from the three bodies. Yeah? So, Bodhaha Tesham Vibhasakaha. And how does it reveal, how does it, illumine the bodies? As Sakshi. That word is there. Bodhaha Tesham Vibhasakaha as Sakshi. Sakshat Ikshate. Sakshat Ikshate means simply witnessing. And the best example is Loka Sakshi Ravihi, sun. The sun is simply witnessing what? Sattva, Rajas, Tamas. Yeah? Witnessing thefts and pujas. Witnessing snowfall and rain. Witnessing divorces and marriages. Departures and arrivals. Summers and winters. Simply witnessing. Sakshi. So here the first line concludes that what is distinct from the three bodies? Bodhaha. And that Bodhaha as the Sakshi illumines Tesham, all the three bodies. Sthula, Sukshma and Karana. How? Let us go to the Tattva Bodha definition of that Bodhaha. Bodhaha is called Avasthatraya Sakshi. Avasthatraya Sakshi means who is the witness of the three states of consciousness? What are the three states first of all? Jagrat, Swapna, Sushupti. Yeah. Now, which bodies are available in the Jagrat? All the three. Sukshma also, no? We are evaluating, judging people and interpreting the data of the world all with the Sukshma. No? Physical Shariram is just the mold. So actually all the three bodies are available in the Jagrat Avastha. It's called the Vishwaha, that's why, no? The Jiva is called Vishwaha because is experiencing with all the three bodies entirely the Pancha Bhautikam Jagat. Then Swapna Avastha, No more Sthula Shariram. Sthula Shariram is part. Then the subtle body is experienced and Karanam also. No? See, Karanam is Ajnanam. And Saroja and Lalita, they know French. But who does not know French here? We all don't know, right? Now, if I ask you, since when did your ignorance of French start? Anadi. That is Ajnanam. Okay? Since when did ignorance of Atma start? I don't know. That is called Ajnanam. Okay? So, I know what I know. I also know that I don't know. So, that is the Sakshi Bodha. Sakshi Bodha is witnessing the presence of something and the absence. It's the pure witnessing presence. Yeah? So if you analyze in you, there will be a witnessing observer, who knows all the stages you've gone through life. Right? When you show your photo album to guests at home, you say, look, that baby, that's me, that's I. Then as a teenager, see, I graduated from this college, that's I. And then look, I got married as a shy bride, that's me. And then I became a proud parent and then grandparent. What is common? I. How are you able to recognize that I through the changing bodies, changing avasthas, changing roles? And that is the I talked about in Vedanta. Tesham vibhasakaha bodha as sakshi. So the I is simply witnessing, and now the purpose of our study is to know that I am that sakshi. Aham Brahma Asmi. That Brahma is Bodha. Bodha is Sakshi. Sakshi is Tesham Vibhasakaha. Okay? Now in the Sushupti Avastha, we have to complete that analysis. Which body is present in the Sushupti Avastha? Only Karanam. No? Physical body is lying there on the bed. Subtle body, the mind is switched off. Yeah? Then what is the experience at that moment? Do you experience anything in deep sleep? Yeah, Anandam, no? Are you all not glad? You will be looking forward to sleep today, right? I hope you all sleep well. I'm not so sure. New place and this cockroach. I'm going to keep the light on. I do that for fear of, yes. So, not in the main room, but. So in the Sushupti Avastha, there is the experience of nothing. Yeah? That means no experience is also an experience for the Sakshi. So the Sakshi Bodha is experiencing 100 million things in the waking state. Then in the dream universe, many 100 million things. Then the Karanam is experiencing nothing. And because the body is getting rest and the mind is not thinking, we are experiencing Anandam. Is it not? That is if we reach the deep sleep state. No, many times we don't. We are still in that REM dream state, and that will cause only fatigue. If we are browsing, continuing to browse, or taking medical, tablets, and worry, with a thought in the mind, you can't sleep. Then you don't reach the Sushupti Avastha. So you are Avasthatraya Sakshi. Then second line is Bodha Bhasaha Buddhi Gataha Karta. So, okay. Then who is this I that is transacting in the world? Who is this I called Hema, Niharika, who is Indian, who is female or male, mother or grandparent? Who is this I? Is this that Bodha Sakshi? No. Second line gives us the answer. It is Bodha Bhasaha. It is the reflection of Bodha. Yeah? We'll come to that. They are actually similar. That is Bodhasya Abhasa. Abhasa means what? Reflection. Yeah? So Bodha Bhasa is also Chidabhasa. Same thing. No. it's little different. So bodha bhasaha is next word. We'll make it easier. Buddhi gataha. Now, we have seen many times that, like this table here. This table is not going to complain that it's hungry or too many books are on the table. Why? Because there is no buddhi, right? It is got only sthula shariram. There is no sukshma shariram. So where there is a sukshma shariram, then there is a bodha bhasaha. Yeah? That means this all pervading tattvam will shine and reflect only in a buddhi. Buddhi means subtle body. Yeah? Now the famous example which we know already is that of the sun. You take the sun. Now consider the sun as bodha. Okay? Sakshi. One sun is there, at least for our solar system, only one sun. Now if the sun shines and there are 10 buckets of water, what will happen? In each of the buckets there will be abhasa, reflection. Yeah? So Surya abhasa will be there. There will be 10 abhasas. No? Will they all be identical, the abhasas? No. Why? Good point, angle. Depending on the water content. Yeah. Exactly. So in the bucket, is sthula shariram. And the water is sukshma shariram. Yeah. And the reflection is the bodha abhasa. That means, let's say in one bucket there is clear water. Then one bucket there is muddy water. One bucket there is shivering water, trembling water. Yeah? One bucket there is the holy water, colored water. So the abhasa will be different in each of them. The abhasa will be trembling in the shaking waters. It will be very clear in the clear water. It will be very, cloudy in the turbid water. Yeah? So the bodha bhasaha in various buddhis will be different. Buddhigataha. Buddhigata means which shines in the minds. No? That is why, one person is contemplative, another person is hyperactive, one person is, constantly confused, another person is very clear and ambitious, because the buddhis are different. And so the bodha abhasas are different. But bodha is one. Ekam Brahma. That is the bodha. Yeah? See, in 2 verses, Vedanta is over. Bodha abhasa buddhikataha. Yeah? Now, we have to still cover the last. Yeah? Now, what this really means is that when this bodha shines in my buddhi, then what happens? It lights up the buddhi, and then there is a I notion. Yeah? The I notion in my subtle mind will say what? I am Padma. I love cows. She really does. Okay. I hate, what do you hate, Padma? Nothing? Very good. I hate, you know what? So, everyone will have likes and dislikes, something. I had a friend who does not like mangoes. Can you believe it? I thought it's, all-time favorite. So, the individual buddhis are so different. So, when there is a bodha abhasaha, then that bodha will light up the mind. And in the mind are vasanas. Likes, dislikes, I like her, I love this color pink, I hate him, I hate winters. So many things are there. It will be lighting up. And that, later on we are going to say that is the personality, the jiva. And here the last quarter is that reflected chaitanyam or bodha abhasaha, which is buddhigataha, shining through the mind, is the karta. Karta in English we say doer. Right? So, the doer, who's the doer? The jiva. No, the transacting individual is the doer, and that is the karta. Hmm? And then what happens to this karta? Karta syat. And the karta becomes the agent of punyam and papam. How? Simple. Through karmas. avladhaan. So when a karta, as a karta, I say, I have to accomplish this. I need this, and right now. So then the karta will have to become bhokta, which is in the next verse coming. But then before becoming the bhokta, what happens? The karta will translate to karmas. Karmas will yield karma phalam, and karma phalam is twofold: drishta karma phalam, adrishta karma phalam. Adrishta karma phalam will be papa and punyam. Yeah? So if I do punya karmas like yajna, danam, tapas, prayer, pradosha pujas, you have earned punyam. Because you made the sankalpa, you have given, the amount, and which is a good thing to do. We need punyam for getting favorable circumstances in life, to move towards sattva. I want the obstacles to clear in my life. I want more viveka, vairagyam, and to be single pointed. Only punyam can do that. But if I go against dharma as karta, then papa will follow. That is told here. So, you see how this bodha abhasaha is, shining up the mind, and then there is in the Brahma Sutras, they say there will be two kind of vrittis. One is aham vritti. I am so and so. I am the president. Yeah? I am this, teacher. Then there will be idam vritti also. Idam vritti means this. How this, supposing I show you, what is this? Stapler. Yeah. So now, in my mind, there is a idam vritti. This is a stapler. This is not a flower. No? So this aham vritti has recognized idam as a stapler. How did all this happen? Because my buddhi is lighted up by the bodha. There is a reflected consciousness. There is an empowerment here in my mind. And then the mind can recognize objects. This is a phone, this is a pen, this is a flower, this is a person, this is a stapler. But then it also says, this stapler does not belong to me. That means there is a aham there. No? Aham notion. Yeah? And then I am not this, I like this, I don't like that. Both are connected. So aham and idam vrittis. Okay? Now, why are we studying all this? The three bodies are over. So this karta, punya papa yoho syat, in the second verse, it is said that is the ego, we say in English, the ego. And the ego is the one who is, we say, ahankaraha. Yeah? Ahamkara means aham karoti iti ahankaraha. Yeah? And in Tattva Bodha, we saw that there is a deity for every faculty we enjoy. For the eyes, it is Aditya. For the mind, it is Chandra Devata. For ahankara, Rudra. Rudra. Rudra is the fierce aspect of Shiva. So the meaning of the word Rudra is Rodaiti iti Rudra, that which will make us cry. And is it not true? The ego, does it not entangle us? The ego will tempt us, attract us, go for that, fulfill this desire, that desire, and then we get trapped like the silkworm in the cocoon. So Rodaiti iti Rudra is the presiding deity of our ahankara, which is bodha bhasaha, which is karta syat punya papa yoga. And again, by the grace of Rudra, when we are beaten around and pushed and tossed and turned, then a time comes when we do Purushartha Nishchaya and we become inward and contemplative. And then we come to this Pariksha and then come to the Shastras and we want release from bondage. And the same Rudra Devata blesses us as Dakshinamurti and says, come, I'll show you the way. And the way is Shravanam, Mananam and Nididhyasanam. Okay? Yeah. So, see, are you able to see the Bodha Abhasa is the experiencer. Yeah? The one who is experiencing is the Karta, is the Bodha Abhasa, is the reflected consciousness. Yeah? Now we are studying the text because I want to understand I am Bodha. Right? I am Bodha Abhasa, fine, but I don't want to continue as Bodha Abhasa. Because Bodha Abhasa will lead me to more karmas as Karta, then I have to become Bhokta, then I will, go round and round in the samsara chakram. So this text is going to show us to remain as pure consciousness, which is Bodha. Yeah? So you see, I am this body or I am this mind, how it is purely notional. Yeah? It is a thought in the mind. But the thought is so deeply entrenched that I am identified with the bodies. Yeah? So the purpose of our study is to cognitively distance from the three bodies and to discover the higher I. That is Bodha. Yeah? But the problem is now, see the sun, the sun is Bodha in the example. And the reflections in the buckets is Bodha Abhasa. Now, how can you separate the sun from its own reflection? Not easy. Is it possible? No. Yeah. So the next, shloka is going to talk about the viveka. Viveka between pure consciousness and reflected consciousness. Now, Swami Paramarthananda uses the word OC and RC. OC is OC in Tamil. OC means free, no, in Tamil. Original consciousness is all pervading. But once it is, shining through a Sukshma body, it is RC. Irreflected consciousness, yeah. And that reflected consciousness, I take to be Karta. This is me, this is mine, this is my body, this is how I think, this is what I do, this is what I want to do, this is what I did. And then that will keep me orbiting. So Vivichyat, next shloka, is going to say that Viveka is the two. One example often given is in these entertainment areas, you have something called a hall of mirrors. Right? So as you enter, there will be some convex mirrors and concave mirrors. So in some you'll appear really bloated, and some you'll be, it's a fun thing to do, for families. You go there and you find very ridiculous versions of yourself in many mirrors. Have you not seen that?
Yes.
Yeah. Now, do you get upset with any of the reflections? Do you identify with any of them? You are the original and the reflections are mithya. You even laugh over all those reflections. You have a good laugh, right? But in real life, what are we doing? We are getting identified with Bodha Abhasas, the personality, the notions. I am sad, I am happy, I am confused, I am intelligent, I am foolish, I am angry, disappointed, frustrated. All this roller coaster emotions. The text, Shastra shows us how to distance by understanding first. Understand what is Sthula Shariram, what is Sukshma, what is causal, and what is distinct. Tesham vibhasakaha. Then what is the problem? The buddhigataha bodhabhasaha. The reflected consciousness. Okay? Let's just read one shloka next and then we'll conclude soon. Third verse. Sa eva samsaret karma Vashalokadvaye sada स एव संसरेत् कर्म वशालोकद्वये सदा बोधाभासात् शुद्धबोधम् विविच्यादति यत्नतः Together, स एव संसरेत् कर्म वशालोकद्वये सदा बोधाभासात् विविच्यादति यत्नतः सः एव संसरेत्. Who is सः? Yeah, but in the current context, from the last verse, who is saha? Correct. Bodhabhasa karta. Yeah. The reflected consciousness, the individual, the jiva, karta, all is saha. Yeah. Yeah. Using a demonstrative pronoun because already that is defined. Saha eva samsaret. That alone, that jiva is going round and round in samsara. Samsaret means samyak sarati, goes round and round. And why? Karma vashat. Next word. Karma vashat means under the force of karma, impelled by karma. Now we all know that we are here to exhaust one chunk of the sanchita karma, which is prarabdha. That is to be exhausted in this present janma. That is karma vasha. We are almost as though pushed into a certain direction. Yeah? And that is called the force of karma. Yeah? Some people, try as much as they do, they don't get married. And some people, they may say, no, I don't want to get married, but they get married. Karma. Yeah? And so we see that there is a force that has giving momentum since the birth. From the birth onwards, there is a force that is directing the jiva. That is karma vasha. So because of that, karma vashat saha eva samsaret. This person who takes himself or herself to be RC, reflected consciousness. Bodha abhasaha. That means what? I have identified myself with the bodies. Okay, RC means the reflection. I have identified myself with the reflection, but not the original. Sakshi, original Sakshi is there, but I have identified with the Abhasa. Okay? Like, when I stand before the mirror in the morning and I put bottu and all, like we do vibhuti, I put it on the, do I put it on the mirror? I put it on, but I use the mirror to see myself, right? So Bodha Abhasa is there. But then we have to learn to remain as Bodha, not Bodha Abhasa. Except for, now this Karma Vashat is there. That means the karma has to be exhausted in a birth, right? So that personality will continue. Yeah? But if I become a karta, then I'm adding more karmas to already my sanchita cake. One chunk I'm eating in this birth, right? But if I continue to do karmas, it will go and join sanchita. So those karma phalams I will exhaust in this birth. But if the lifespan gets over, what happens to the karma phalams? Carried over and joins the sanchita. Sahaiva samsare karma vashat. And then how does this person orbit lokadvaye sada? Lokadvaye means in these two lokas. Iha amutra. In this loka also one is going round and round, chasing desires and their karma phalam. And then after this life also, hereafter, there will be samsaranam. Okay? Lokadvaye yada. Then bodha, then what to do? What is the solution? Next line. Bodha abhasat. From this reflected consciousness, Shuddha Bodham Vivichya. Vivichya comes from Viveka, correct. Viveka means to discriminate, between two things. Yeah? It's very easy to discriminate between orange and apple, right? Day and night, so obvious. Yeah? But how to discriminate between Bodha and Bodha Abhasa? That's why the last word atiyatnataha. One has to put forth a lot of effort. Atiyatnataha means we have to strive to develop that clear discrimination between the original consciousness, bodha, which is the vibhasaka, illumina of all the three bodies, and the reflected consciousness, which I am taking myself to be now. Okay? This empowered body, mind, sense complex, we have heard it many times in Gita, no? Anatma, exactly. Anatma is empowered by Atma. But if I think Anatma is me, then I become the Saha eva samsarit. Okay? So Vivichya. Vivichya means may one discriminate between RC and OC with maximum effort. Yeah? Now, with a lot of effort, the effort is, how will this effort be there? Now comes the idea of that superimposition. Yeah? You see here, no? Our pot example, no? We have the clay as the karanam. No? Ghataha, pot is the karyam. Yeah? Now, I want to separate the pot from the clay. How is it possible? Huh? Not correct. Apavada. Atiyatnataha means you have to put effort through the intellect to be able to say that pot does not really exist. Right? Pot is essentially clay. Pot is a manifestation of clay. There is only clay, there is no second entity called pot. Is it not Atiyatnataha? So, with an effort to discriminate, Vivichya, I have understood that pot is mithya, dependent existing entity, but clay is satyam. So, in this example, as though clay is bodha and pot is bodhabhasaha. So, you need not physically separate the two. You cannot. Yeah? Of course, when I break it or drop it, which I'm not going to do, otherwise I have to pay the damages. Then the pot is gone, but clay is there. But even while I am having an existent pot, can I not realize that pot is tattvam, OC, bodha, and clay is bodha, tattvam, and independently existing, and pot is dependent. So that is the yatnaha talked about here. Yeah, jnanena, by knowledge. Yeah? So, discovering the Kshetrajnaha in me, the changeless consciousness, despite the coming and going and the changes. The familiar example of the screen, where something will be projected. Then there are moving actors and scenes and all that, but the screen is changing. Screen is bodha, and the moving acts are bodha abhasa, because screen is supporting. Without screen you can't have the abhasas. Okay? So this viveka is, may one discriminate between jivatma and paramatma. Yeah? And because there is a mix-up, I take myself to be this isolated, insignificant, persecuted, sukhi dukhi, karta bhokta jiva. Yeah, I reduce myself to that status. Whereas Shastra Vedanta wants to elevate us to Satyam Jnanam Anantam Tat Tvamasi. You are that. Yeah. So then Vivichya, only one word Vivichya is there, but that is to be understood as Shravanam, Mananam, Nididhyasanam. Yeah. So that is the, let us chant these three verses and then conclude. So in the first two verses we saw the Sharira Trayam was described, and then we saw the Bodhaha, Shuddha Chaitanya Bodhaha, which is Sakshi. But then how there is Bodha Abhasa, reflection, and how I am caught up in the reflected consciousness. Together we'll chant. Sthulo mam samayo dehaha sukshmasyad vasanamayaha jnana karmendriye sadham dhi prano tat shariragau ajnanam karanam sakshi bodhastesham vibhasakah बोधाभासो बुद्धिगतः कर्ता स्यात् पुण्यपापयोः स एव संसरेत् कर्म वशालोकद्वये सदा बोधाभासात् शुद्धबोधं विविच्यादति यत्नतः ॐ पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः हरिः ॐ श्रीगुरुभ्यो नमः हरिः ॐ